विठ्ठल किती गावा, विठ्ठल किती ध्यावा, विठ्ठल पहावा उभा विटेवरी. This abhang of Sant Tukaram brings to our mind, our memory and vision the idol of Lord Vitthal at Pandharpur. So we offer our namaskars at his holy feet and namaskars at the feet of all the Varkari saints too. We come to the next abhang of Sant Muktabai's Tatiche abhang. There are in all 11 Tatiche abhang, and these abhangs have been spontaneously composed by Sant Muktabai when she tries to gently request her elder brother Jnaneshwar Mauli to open the door of the hut in which he has got himself closed in because he is disappointed, dejected with the way society has treated him and makes him feel unwanted. This abhang of Sant Muktabai brings to mind so many different aspects of society and the human mind. Let's see the first line. Sukha sagar apan bhave, jag bodhe nivavave. Sant Muktabai is asking Mauli, Jnaneshwar Mauli, to be the ocean of bliss. Now, ocean of bliss, Sukha sagar apan bhave. Bliss is actually Anand. But Muktabai has used the word Sukha. When she wants to mean Anand Sagar, she says Sukha Sagar because her abhangs, first of all, are spontaneous, and secondly, she wants that each one of us, whatever level of education we may have taken in this material world, each one of us should understand the words because they should be in a language which is lucid and simple. So she uses the word Sukh, though she means Anand. Now, what is the difference between Sukh and Anand? Sukh is happiness. And when you say happiness, there is always an opposite to it, which is sorrow or sadness. So Sukh comes with a duality, and we in the material world are filled with dualities and multiplicities. So for us, when there is happiness, there is an opposite to it. That means we do have a boundary or a limit to our happiness. Our happiness is also relative. Secondly, it is even time bound. Now, why time bound? Because if you achieve something which you wanted, if you have got it today, you are happy for a few days. After a few days, that happiness wanes, and again you are in search of something else which will make you happy. So therefore, it is time bound. It is not beyond a time. So it's not limitless. I also said happiness is relative. Many of us good souls feel that our happiness lies in the happiness of others. But there are some souls, some section of society, because the world is made of both good and bad. So there is a certain populace which feels that their happiness lies only in the sorrow of others. So if you see happiness, it is not limitless, it has a certain boundary to it. But if you talk of bliss, it is limitless and infinite. And that's why saints are always in a state of bliss. They do not know the difference between happiness and sorrow. They live in any condition, they have no complaints about it. So that is why we say bliss is different, Anand is different. So any saint is always in that Anand state. That is why many saints have the name Anand attached to their spiritual names. So here she says, Sukha Sagar Apan Bhave. So we take it as ocean, Sagar is ocean, ocean of bliss. So she is asking Jnandev Mauli to become the ocean of bliss, and she says, Jaga Bodhe Nivavave. Let your bliss be shared with all those people who are waiting to be spiritually uplifted. They have possibly got themselves into a snare of the material world and are not able to come out of it. So she tells Jnaneshwar Mauli, requests him that you bring them out of it, let them come out of that material bondage, you show them the path, let your teachings be an eye-opener for them. So bodh is a teaching. So if you put it more metaphorically, she says, let the water drops of your ocean of bliss be sprinkled into the parched throats of those who want to quench their thirst with your grace. That is what the first line actually means. Coming to the second line, bodha karune antara sadhu nahi apapara. Here she also advises us through the medium of Mauli that your teachings should not be restricted, should not be on the basis of some discrimination. Since centuries we have seen that discrimination has been taking place in religious teachings, be it in the case of even spiritual teachings or even the mastery of certain skills. So let us see the case of Eklavya. There has been a discrimination. There has been discrimination on the basis of caste, gender, color, race, monetary status. And so we find that discrimination is not something new. So she is advising us through Mauli that if you want to offer some religious teachings or spiritual teachings to someone, do not have a discrimination, do not have your own self-discretion that this one is worthy of being taught and that one is not worthy of being taught. And especially when it comes to spiritual teachings, there is no one who is not having the worthiness. So she says, bodha karune antara sadhu nahi apapara. There is nothing like mine and yours. This discrimination and possession, that is, it is mine, should not be there in any saint. An instance which will clarify this thought better, which happened in the life of Sant Mirabai. Sant Mirabai had heard that in Vrindavan there was a certain Goswami, the chief of the Vaishnavas, a very ardent devotee of Lord Krishna, and she wanted to meet him because she wanted to know more about the glories of Lord Krishna through him. All of us know Santa Mirabai herself was a very great devotee, a great saint of Lord Krishna. But she thought Goswami would be having something more to tell about Lord Krishna, about his playful activities. So she yearned to meet Goswami. Somehow finding out where his house was, she landed at the entrance of Goswami's house. When the disciples there stopped her from entering, saying that she was not allowed inside because Goswami never spoke or even looked at women. This surprised her, and she cites through a certain bhajan that I thought there was only one man in this entire universe and all other were women. Today I came to know that there are two women, one is Lord Krishna and second is Goswami. On hearing this bhajan, Goswami comes running out of his house because he realizes that she is no ordinary soul. He asks for pardon, and at that time Santa Mirabai says, do not discriminate that these are women, they are lowly, they are not befitting for any spiritual learning. She says in this entire universe, the entire cosmos, whatever creation limits are there, in that everything is feminine, Prakriti, and there is only one Purush and that is Krishna. So we all understand discrimination should never be done on the basis of gender. On the basis of caste also, as I said earlier, of course this was not related to spiritual teaching, but Eklavya's case everyone knows. But in the case of the saint lineage, Santa Chokhamira, a very simple person, we have spoken about him in our Guru Tattva series also, where he and his wife, both of them were very great Varkari saints, Santa Soirabai. So Santa Chokhamira says in one of his abhang, Amha nakare jnana, न कळे पुराण, वेदांचे वचन न कळे आम्हा. Means We don't understand anything of the scriptures. We do not understand anything of the Vedas or the Puranas. And further in his abhang, he concludes saying the only thing that we know is how to chant the Harinam. That is enough for us to become close to Lord Vitthal, is what his abhang says. That means at those times also there was discrimination on the basis of caste. So here Muktabai wants to advise all of us through this abhang. Bodha karune antara, that means do not discriminate on the basis of any of these factors. Sadhu nahi apapara. Apapara means mine and not mine. That is that which is my possession and that which is not my possession. How can a saint say that this is mine and this is not mine, because he is supposed to be above all this? So she says that is not a virtuous quality of a saint at all. Next line she says, Jiva jiva si pai dyava maga karune antara deva. So she says, give your teachings to everyone. Let your grace be on everyone. The saint should have his grace on everyone, irrespective of who they are, whether they are living or non-living also. So she says here, Jiva jiva si pai dyava. Now about the living entities we all know. Saints are graceful on plants, animals, birds, even the microbes, and they are also graceful obviously on the human species. But about saints being gracious on inanimate things is something which is a little difficult to comprehend. But all of us are aware of a very great saintly person, Lord Rama, who put his foot on a stone, and from that emerged the original form of Ahilya. So Ahilya means that which cannot move. Even that started having mobility only by the grace of this great person, Lord Rama. So therefore, Jiva jiva si pai dyava, give everyone your grace. Don't discriminate, don't restrict yourself. Give it in abundance, she says. Maga karune antara deva. Do not distance yourself that this is not to be given, this has to be given to this much, only so much. Don't measure your grace. Let your grace go in large quantity, unlimited, boundless quantity. Lastly, she says, Taranopaya chitti dhara tati ugda jnaneshwara. Taranopaya is a word which is made up of two words, tarana and upaya. Now, which means to uplift someone. She says, chitti dhara, that means keep this as your main focus of your spiritual mission. Your focus is to uplift the world from their spiritual sleep. Awaken them. Let them come from darkness to light. So tarana upaya. So let them all come out of that spiritual slumber. Let them get spiritually elevated. And that should be the focus, or that should be the focal point of your mission. So she says, Tati ugda jnaneshwara means open the door now, Jnaneshwara, because the world is waiting for you. The world is completely seeping with ignorance, darkness. And you have to come, bring this bliss into them, put knowledge into them, and uplift them so that they also share the same space as what saints do. Now, it may be difficult for all of us who are in this material or householder life to immediately become a spiritual seeker and start walking on the path of there. But what she wants to say is, a hidden meaning is, at least make a beginning. So apply the principles of saints, the virtuous qualities of saints in your material life. So if you start applying those virtues in your material life, it will not be very far that you start climbing up the spiritual ladder and the saints hold their hand and lead you further. So she says, for that world to come to that particular awakening, we need Mauli to open the door, and so she tells him, Tati ugda jnaneshwara. With this, we end this abhang. The next abhang will be in the next session. Till then, Ram Krishna Hari.
सुख सागर आपण भावे जगबोधे निववावे बोधा करू नये अंतर, साधु नाही आपपर। जीव जीवासी पैद्यावा, मग करू नये अंतर देवा। तरणोपाय चित्ती धरा, ताटी उघडा ज्ञानेश्वरा।